Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Facebook Live. It is Friday morning, about 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Still tracking a few showers today. Throughout the day, you could see still a few tomorrow morning as we were updated throughout the morning with Lydia Bloom's forecast for the weekend. The 10-day looks like some nice fall weather, some dry days, and a lot of sun next week. So looking forward to that. Don't forget, you can watch and listen to this live stream anytime you want. Just go to the Inforum YouTube channel or visit your favorite podcast platform. It's a great way to get all the news and weather you need to start your day. Just visit inforum.com/podcasts and look for the Inforum Minute, or just join us live right here on Facebook. We have a lot to talk about this morning. It was a busy Friday morning on First News, following a couple of different breaking stories for you this morning. We are working to learn more information after a man was struck and killed by a train in downtown Fargo overnight. WDAY was the only TV crew down there covering this throughout the night. It happened around 12:30 this morning on the railroad tracks between 4th Avenue North and Broadway. That's an area right near Spicy Pie. Now, our First News photographer was down there. He got a lot of information, talked to police, talked to an eyewitness who actually told him that he did see the man running onto the tracks. It appeared that he was trying to get by the train, but did not make it. Like I mentioned, we are working to learn the name of the man who died as police continue to investigate. We do know a large area of Broadway was blocked off for about 3 hours. The train has since moved. Traffic, you can drive in that area right now, but of course there are still a lot of questions. So we will have a WDAY reporter following up on this throughout the day, and you can join us again this evening for updates on what exactly led to this deadly train pedestrian crash, and who it is, who was killed, and what happened, what led up to it. Stay with us for updates throughout the day. Another breaking story that we're following for you, though, as well. Right around an hour before we got the report of that man being hit by a train, police were called down to downtown Fargo, right around that same area, the 300 block of Broadway. We did speak with a police spokesperson who told us that they got reports that two people agreed to fight each other. However, one person did suffer injuries. Paramedics were called. That person refused treatment. However, we do know from Fargo police that they did arrest one person, 47-year-old Paul Jones of Fargo. He's in the Cass County Jail, a pending assault charge. So that's also another breaking story that we're going to continue to follow for you that happened in downtown Fargo overnight. Now, we're also learning investigators have found no evidence to support claims that the victim of a crash in McHenry, North Dakota, was a Republican extremist. This is also a story that WDAY has been following for you. The driver, Shannon Brandt, claimed he and 18-year-old Kaylor Ellingson had a political argument, but the Highway Patrol says in their investigation so far they have found no evidence of that. Authorities say Brandt hit Ellingson with his car, then left the scene, but returned to call 911. Brandt is charged with vehicular homicide. We did visit with one of Ellingson's friends who's talking a little bit more about the victim. And we do know now that there's going to be a fundraiser at a bar in New Rockford, North Dakota, and that's going to help pay for funeral expenses. It's going to start tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon and go until 2 in the morning on Sunday. If you want more information or just to follow and track this investigation, just go to inforum.com. Lots of information there as well. We are also working to learn the name of a woman who was arrested by UND police after she pointed a gun at a UND staff member. University police say they were called around 9:30 Monday night to Gamble Hall on campus. They say that a woman had taken a handgun from her waistline, from her pants, and pointed it at a staff member who asked if she needed help. When police arrived, that staff member, when police arrived, that woman took off, but she was arrested a short time after that. What we know at this point is that that woman was not a student, and she is also not affiliated with the university. So once again, this is a story that we're going to be tracking for you because there's a lot of questions still as to what happened here. It's going to be a busy weekend. Lots going on this weekend. The Alzheimer's Association is holding its Walk to End Alzheimer's. That's happening in West Fargo at the Lights. you don't have to be registered yet. You can show up. Registration starts at 9. The walk's going to start at 10. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to help MC and maybe even take part in the walk. Of course, so many of us are affected by Alzheimer's, know someone who has been touched by the disease. So it would be great to see a lot of people get out there and join us tomorrow for that. If you want to register ahead of time, you can find a link to do that on Inforum.com. Just look for this story and there's a link there for you to do it. Also, a lot of people are talking about this. The junk market is happening in Fargo again this weekend. It's going to be from 4 to 8 tonight, and then tomorrow is when it really gets going, 9 in the morning until 4. There's going to be at least 60 vendors, games for the kids, coffee from Muddy Boots Coffee. The junk market will have lots of repurposed and vintage items. If you have been there before, you know how cool that event is. You might want to check that out. Here are some of your national headlines this morning. House Democrats are moving ahead with consideration of a package of policing and public safety bills. It was an extremely close vote yesterday. They just approved opening up debate. There was a holdup of several hours as leadership worked to lock in support to pass the legislation. So we'll continue to track that for you. Also, this is an interesting story, and we have so many military families here in the area with the Grand Forks Air Force Base and North Dakota Air National Guard families as well. Military members are going to see a little bit of help, hopefully, from the Defense Department to kind of combat rising inflation. They are set to get a 4.5% pay increase in January. However, inflation now stands at 8%. To help make up the difference, we're hearing Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is making some policy changes. That includes cutting the cost of food, increasing basic housing allowances for active duty service members, and striving to make childcare more affordable for military families. And this is cool too. We've heard a little bit about this. The Defense Department is also launching a new career initiative to help military spouses find higher paying private jobs as well. And MyPillow CEO and Trump ally Mike Lindell back in the news once again. He's not getting his phone back, at least not yet. Here's the latest. Authorities took it from him last week while he was at a fast food drive-in in Minnesota. A federal judge denied his request to get his phone back from investigators. The judge, who was appointed by Trump, says Lindell did not prove his rights were violated. He also says Lindell did not properly answer any of the legal questions required to make that request. The FBI is reportedly looking at Lindell's phone as part of an investigation into a Colorado election security breach, which we have reported quite a bit here on WDAY. Remember to tune in today, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo. That's happening from 9 to 11 this morning on Inforum.com, also on WDAY Extra. I didn't mention it, even though I think it's big breaking news. I'm going to let him talk about it. We talked about it on First News. They were popping the champagne, poured it all over themselves. Big celebration. The RedHawks. Yeah, they won their first ever championship since joining the American Association. Of course, that's going to be a big one to talk about today. We heard from Chris Coast this morning how happy he is with his team, and they came back. They were down, and they had a rally. So I'm interested in listening to Dom's breakdown of that game as well. And of course, looking ahead, we have Friday Night Football we'll be talking about, and the Bison will be on the road. They're heading south, taking on the University of South Dakota this weekend. So heading south, not as far south as Arizona, but still a big game for the Bison. So be sure to tune in or go to Inforum.com. And when you're on Inforum.com, check out our must-reads. The headline from Tracy Briggs, this is a must-read. Fargo woman goes through with vow she made as a 10-year-old. That's a great read. And I should note, too, that this is another installment of Inforum's Home Stories, where people share what makes their homes unique. And we're always looking for ideas. If you have a story you want to share about your home, you can email Tracy Briggs. It's tracy.briggs@forumcom.com with details. And who knows, you might be in the paper. So love that. Don't forget, for 99 cents a month for your first 3 months, you can get an all-access pass to Inforum.com. Just go to Inforum.com/subscribe to get that deal. And remember to join us. We have that brand new newscast at 11 every weekday morning here on WDAY. And then this afternoon, newscasts at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. And we always appreciate when you wake up with First News. Of course, we have First News throughout the weekend, and our crew will be back Monday morning, 5 to 7. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining me.